Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video we are going to be talking about the downfall of Alison Dilaurentis.
I know you want to kiss me.
So everybody, look at my arts and crafts skills. So this is everything that I'm going to talk about today, and I think it was really cool just to put it in some type of like visualization for me and for you guys. Oh no, Miss Alison, you're falling off. I have quite a lot to say on Miss Alison Dilaurentis, the mother of the show. I have a lot of opinions that I just kind of want to get across. So ultimately, we are going to be talking about Alison Dilaurentis and her whole kind of story throughout the show and what worked really well, but then ultimately what ruined her character and her potential on the show. Also, by the way, I'm using a knitting needle as a pointer because I don't have anything else that I can use. So yeah, okay. My overall opinion on Alison is that I do think she should have been A. I think the show should have finished at season 6, and I think instead of Cece being A, I think Alison should have been A. So the first like section, I guess, of this video I want to talk about. Am I in focus? Guys, I can't see. The first kind of thing I want to talk about is over here. Flashback Alison. So ultimately, Alison throughout season 1 to 4 was mainly shown to us through oh, it's raining. Through flashbacks, and we only ever saw her mostly in this yellow top. Now I wrote something for this yellow top. Hold on. So this here says this yellow top mothered. Yeah, and I'm not going to start here because I said what I said and I will stand by it. This yellow top, very ugly. If a celebrity wore this to a Met Gala or a red carpet event, trust me, I will be there sat in my pajamas typing on Twitter slating it. Is it the most iconic thing in the show? Absolutely, absolutely. I don't even know where I'm putting this. There. Defined Alison. And throughout the entire time she was missing, like this was just like her staple. The yellow top, blonde hair, been there, done that, iconic, do you know what I mean? She's won the Grammys, she's won the Emmys, she was there front row. We only ever saw her through these flashbacks here. So I wrote here, blueprint, because I think Alison Dilaurentis is the blueprint for high school mean girls in TV shows. Iconic. She was the most terrible character in the world, personality wise, but that worked really, really well because then that just made her whole villain origin story. Not even origin story, actually, just her villain story. Yeah. We saw her through these flashbacks where she would bully people, which we will come back to, but ultimately in this scene here she's being really mean to her friends, the girls, Aria, Spencer, Hannah, Emily, that's it. And a lot of the time throughout the show she would use the girls' personal things against them. So Emily had her sexuality and how she was exploring it. Hannah had her weight issue. Aria had her dad who was cheating, and Spencer had the fact she was kissing Melissa's boyfriends. Alison would constantly terrorize the girls with these secrets. So I always just kind of think from the very start, did Alison actually like these girls? The friendship was so toxic and so evil that it's like, how are these guys even friends? I can't remember what scene or season it was, but I remember there was one scene in particular where one of the girls said that since Alison had gone missing, they felt more free. And that to me is just a huge indicator of who Alison was and the ultimate kind of figure of everyone's trauma that she was. You know, throughout this, we're given this whole mysterious character that we've only ever seen through flashbacks. And with this yellow t-shirt and the night that Alison disappeared, that's all we ever knew about Alison. But in fact, these people had been through so much with her that she was just a symbol of everything that people were scared of, and she was just a symbol of someone's trauma. And the fact that she was now gone was like, wow, like I'm free from that type of thing. So overall, she is the blueprint for being a mean girl. She just was perfect at that. I want to talk about this scene here, and this scene is from season 2, episode 13, The First Secret. And this was one of the Halloween episodes. Do you remember the Halloween episodes? Yeah, front row we were. She debuted with 1 billion streams. We were there. Yeah. But this scene in particular here was, she pulled a prank on the girls and pretended that she was like being like beaten up and like attacked, when actually it was a whole prank on the girls just to test them.
Don't open this door for anyone but me. Lock the door.
So ultimately, did she ever care for people before? And is she capable of being sympathetic that easily? Because in my eyes, Alison was a bit of a psychopath throughout seasons 1 to 4. And I feel like that suddenly just got taken away from her as she became this like thing of redemption. And it just totally took away from the character that she was. Yeah, the Jenna thing. Let's talk about it. So the Jenna thing was when Alison purposefully made Jenna blind, and then she blamed it on Toby. And this was just like pure evil from her, because I think at the start we're made to believe it was an accident, but later on we actually find out she did see Jenna in that room before she threw the firework or whatever it was. So this ultimately shows me like the top of like her evilness type of thing. And the fact that she's capable of something like this, and she didn't even hesitate, and she didn't even really think about it, and then she went to go blame it on someone else, shows me that she has the capability to be the ultimate show's villain. Because then this moves to Mona. Not just Mona. I only put Mona on here because she is mother. She's won all the Grammys, she's won all the Emmys, and we will be streaming her album. Mona is the best character on the show. I only put Mona on here because I don't really like Lucas or Paige. Yeah? She heavily bullied the likes of Mona, Lucas, and Paige. It left them with trauma for life. And throughout the show, when anybody would mention Alison to them, they instantly got their guard up and they were scared and they got goosebumps. They were like, I don't want to talk about it. Which is like the ultimate, she is this source of trauma for people. And then obviously she was Redcoat, which means she knows how to spy on the girls, she knows how to follow the girls, and she knows how to keep secrets from the girls. And I think that's the most important thing, because even when she came back, she lied about what happened to her while she was missing, and faked a kidnapping as well. Even then, once she's come back and they try and do this whole redemption arc, she's still lying to the girls. And ultimately, Alison was just this whole thing of, it's all secrets. Everything that she held was always a secret, and every connection she had with someone was always a secret, and people weren't really connected with each other until her secrets came out. So now we're going to talk about her downfall. Yeah, this was the most disappointing thing for me about the show. Once they brought her back, they tried to do a redemption arc. And I think with some characters in TV shows, this redemption arc could work. And I'm not against redemption arcs. You know, Steve from Stranger Things type of thing. I run with it. I vibe with it. But I think for this character in particular, it doesn't work. It didn't work, and they should not have done it. Because ultimately, Alison is this prominent figure who people are scared of. And then she turns into this character who gets pushed to the back. and it's kind of like, oh, that's just Alison now, and no one's really scared of her or holds that thing against her anymore. And I'm all for, I enjoyed when Spencer became more part of the show and more kind of like the main story revolved around her, and I'm all for that. But Alison Dilaurentis is Pretty Little Liars. It started with Alison. The whole show revolves around Alison. So whilst I liked the Spencer stuff, I don't think you should be pushing your characters to the back to put someone else at the front, especially someone like Alison. When she came back, she was on this whole redemption thing. She was like, yeah, I'm good now, and I want to be nice to people, and I want to say sorry. Miss Girl, I'm not believing it. I'm really sorry. Like, I'm gonna come back to Emily and Alison, because I have some things to say on that. But anyway, I highlighted here Mona's death because this was the only good thing post Alison coming back about her character. And I feel like the whole Mona is dead and Alison's being framed for it was a really good thing to go with Alison's character, showing that the evil is still in there. I know that Mona didn't actually die, obviously, and Alison did not kill Mona. I know. But the fact that they were still lining her up to be this villain was really cool. The fact they were denying this redemption thing, and they were like, no, she's a killer and she's evil and she's just like how she was before and it's just Alison. That's exactly what I wanted for the rest of the show. And I think they missed out on the opportunity to continue this. This point, I thought they were going to carry on throughout the whole show. And I did not expect them to do the redemption arc that they were going to do. So this, for me, was a really good point in the show. Especially because we knew that Alison had not done it. Therefore, I put here Miss Jessica DeLaurentis. I have a thought of like, what if, guys, listen to me, what if Alison killed Jessica DeLaurentis instead of Mary Drake? I was not a fan of Mary Drake being the killer, and in fact I could have told you Mary Drake did it before the killing even happened, before the show existed, before the earth existed. It was that obvious. I'm terribly sorry, Marlene King. I think it would have been cool to highlight Alison's evilness still being in her, because what if her and Jessica had a fight? And what if she got angry that Jessica helped Cece when Cece hit her over the head with a rock, and they had a fight and she killed her? Right? Would have made so much sense. And I'm not saying that Mary Drake doesn't make sense, because she does. But ultimately, it's the most obvious thing. And once it was revealed, I was like, oh. Okay, next thing. Because I just didn't care for the reveal because it was done in such a bad way. If Alison had done it, and then Alison would have had to have the evilness to bury her own mother and then text her friends about it, whilst being I'd be sat front row for that one. But then instead, towards the end of the show, she becomes this boring person. This is not Alison. I don't know who this is, what they did to her. This is not Alison. The fact she becomes a teacher. Okay. The fact that she falls in love so easily with a man that we don't know. I think after season 4 or 5, no, I say 5, I don't think they knew how to write for Alison. So there's a 5-year time jump, and ultimately after this 5 years, she becomes this character that I do not recognize anymore. This is not the mysterious, evil, traumatizing figure that we had at the start of the show. And in fact, I think it would have been so much better if, personally, this is what I think. Okay, guys, listen up, because I should be nominated for multiple Emmys. Yeah, because listen to this writing. Okay, I think Alison was trying to track down who A was. She didn't know who A was when Mona was A. And ultimately, at the end of season 2, Mona gets revealed as A, and then like the game like stops for A. But then someone takes over. So what if, okay, oh my god, this is so good. Get ready, guys. Get ready. What if Alison took over from Mona? She's taking her trauma back, and everything that Mona had put her through, she's taken it back. It's in her hands now. And I don't think she ever liked the girls as much as they liked her. So I think she would have went after the girls. And just the fact that they were quite happy that not happy she was gone, but like I said before, they felt free, and like everyone in the town felt just like happier. So she would have went out for not just the girls, but like the town. And ultimately she would have been Big A at the end of season 6 instead of Cece. And Alison all this time would have taken over from Mona, and she would have been A, and she would have taken the girls to the dollhouse. She would have kidnapped Mona and put her in the dollhouse because Mona was A and terrorized Alison. And ultimately, having A to be someone from the very start of the show to the point where it becomes full circle. So we're met in the first episode of Alison being this really horrible person, to the end of the show where she's suddenly this big villain that's been the villain since day 1. That's the most full circle thing ever. And honestly, she would have been out to get the whole town, not just the girls, but like her family as well. She would have killed Jessica because she found out that Cece hit her. In my eyes, like, that makes so much sense. That is my, like, ideally what I would have wanted. I don't know if it's obvious for her to be A. I feel like it is, but it's also not type of thing. I don't know how to explain that. I think it would have been a good mixture of like, oh my god, that's so obvious. That makes so much sense, to compare to like, what the hell? Like I didn't expect that type of thing. I don't think anyone would have expected Alison to be A towards the end of the show. And once she comes back, I feel like if she would have been A, it would have been season 2 with Mona's A. So I think it would just have been such a shock for the audience, and also just such a sign of like betrayal. Like, this character the whole time, who maybe at some parts we're rooting for them, was A this whole time, and she did it to her best friends. Not to mention, she kills Ian. Well, we don't know because it never like gets answered, but she pushes Ian off the bell tower to save Spencer. So she has the capability of being evil, and she didn't feel any guilt or any remorse for that killing. So it's in there, and there's potential for her to be that evil character. And I think personally for me, it doesn't make sense how this character who spread trauma to nearly every person in Rosewood, knows everyone in Rosewood in some type of dodgy way, and clearly everybody hates her, suddenly goes to this figure who is a teacher and is really, really nice and wants to make up to everyone. It makes no sense to me. And towards the end of the show, like I was saying here, I'm going to come back to this, the Alison and Emily stuff, and then the stuff with Archer towards the end. Was his name Archer? I can't remember. Towards the end, she just becomes a love interest, and she's just there for the other characters. And like I said, I'm fine with other characters taking center stage, and I really enjoyed the whole Spencer stuff as well. But to have this figure that you've been building up throughout the entire first to fourth season of the show to be pushed back to someone who the audience no longer recognizes. And like, this is not Alison Dilaurentis. Like, people would say her name and be scared. This is not Alison Dilaurentis. Not to mention, to add on to my theory of her taking over from Mona, there's a scene where Grunwald connects Mona and Alison, and she says that one of them knows something about the other, or each other knows something about the other, something like that. And that to me is the ultimate connection of like they are the same person, because they are both A, and they were A. Mona was A, Alison's A. So there's that connection there. I feel like that's all I have to say. I hope you guys liked this. I had so much fun making it, guys. You won't even believe. Anyway, make sure to comment down below if you have any kind of like add-ons to my theories, or just like what you think about Alison and like her ultimate kind of like downfall on the show. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.